A 1,400,000-volt X-ray machine at the National Bureau of Standards Laboratory in Washington, D.C., 1946. The Fraf Zeppelin flying over the pyramids in Giza, 1931. Laika, the first dog in space, 1957. Fidel Castro's wild New York visit, April 24, 1959. This photographer is taking his own photo, 97 years before Photoshop was invented, 1893. Winston Churchill, laying bricks. September 1928 at Chartwell, Churchill's country home in Westerham, Kent. Liquidators removing and shoveling debris from the roof of reactor number 3 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant during the cleanup process, September to October 1986. Painting the hawse pipe on the USS Stark, 1989. The Lancia Martini rally team helping an elephant that is stuck in the mud during the 1991 Safari Rally. This is what 2.2 megabytes of memory looked like in 1966. East St. Johnsbury train wreck, 1912. Man having his hair brushed by his wife, Navajo Nation, Arizona, 1948. Girl in Greenland poses with a white sled dog puppy on a blanket. Steve Dahl standing next to a pile of disco records that are being prepared to be blown up for disco demolition at the Comiskey Park Baseball Stadium in Chicago, July 12, 1979. Servicemen at a bar in Berlin, circa 1949. David Bowie in 1965? An Inuit family building an igloo, 1924. ACT UP protesters protesting at Trump Tower against Donald Trump, 1989. Dorothy Counts became one of the first black students to attend an all-white school in the United States, and this photo shows exactly what she had to face: students openly mocking and taunting her as she walked in. Russian strongman Samson, aka Alexander Zass, performs one of his favorite strength feats, carrying a horse on his shoulders, 1913. a block party back in the 70s. People gather to watch a car accident, circa 1920. The 3-mile-long Granite Railway in Quincy, Massachusetts, was the first commercial railway in the United States. Incorporated in 1826, the railway used horses instead of steam locomotives to move cars along the tracks. Jimi Hendrix in the Army, 1960s. Elizabeth Freeman of the New York State Women's Suffrage Association prepares to join the parade in Washington, D.C., March 3, 1913. A typical American family in the 1950s, Detroit, Michigan. Rhino hunting in Borneo, 1925. The Beatles, here is a photo of them performing before they signed their first recording contract as a band. They are seen here performing at a club in Liverpool in 1962. Permanent hair curling procedure, Germany, 1929. Suffragettes march in Washington for women's rights, March 3, 1913. Model Jean Shrimpton, 1964. Dr. Ruth and Billy Idol, 1980s. Lady sewing Apollo mission suits, 1968. Aztec Sun Calendar Stone, National Museum, Mexico, 1964. Soldiers in a trench use a flamethrower during World War I. They flipped the car on a driving safari, 1990s. (1939). A tiny velocar with double pedal movement is showing its paces in Hyde Park, London, solving the problem of wartime petrol rationing. Two Best Friends C, 1925. Showing the milkman how strong he is, 1960s. Parade in honor of the liberation of Paris in 1944. 1933. Charlotte Henry plays Alice in a debate with Alec B. Francis as the King of Hearts, in a scene from Paramount's Alice in Wonderland. Dolores Lolita LeBron, after carrying out an armed attack on the United States Capitol. 1954. Group of women mock boxing, CK, 1920s, always in heels. (1934) saw the opening by King George V and Queen Mary of the Mersey Tunnel, Queensway. Here is a view of the crowd which thronged the area. Mr. Sig visits the hospital patients, 1948. Woman near a giant sequoia, 1950s. X-ray technology was advancing rapidly, but all the machines were impressively large. This is how a dental X-ray was taken, 1932. Alaska Native woman pulling child in a cart, Alaska, 1906. Nighttime anti-aircraft fire from an American airfield on Okinawa. Silhouettes of F-4U Corsair fighters are visible in the foreground, 1945. Early Mouseketeers at the Circus, 1939. Average scene of a boy skateboarding with a potted plant also on its own skateboard. This proud mom is out for a ride on her new stroller bike, 1926. President Richard Nixon chatting with a White House gardener laying a subcarpet for his daughter Trisha's wedding, 1971. Crow King, Hunk Papa Lakota, 1880. Nice Ford Model T from the 1920s. The Prince of Wales, 1894-1972, later King Edward VIII, hunting in Africa, April 1930. Jason Momoa on the sets of Baywatch, 1999. German soldiers escort Jews captured during the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising to a collection point for deportation. Poland, May 1943. A photographer captures the bustling streets of New York City in 1925. A 1940s recruitment advertisement for the Coast Guard. World War II veteran, Tokyo, 1951. Asso Bazou, a Moroccan man suffering from microcephaly, 1931. The Great Ohio River Flood. This man built a makeshift boat out of 4 metal wash tubs and some wooden slats, 1937. Boeing 747 crash over Lockerbie, 1988. Reverend Martin Luther King, American civil rights leader, invited to Berlin by West Berlin Mayor Willy Brandt, visits the wall on September 13, 1964, at the border Potsdamer Platz in West Berlin. Osama bin Laden photographed with several Mujahideen fighters during the Soviet invasion. Afghanistan, 1988. People Power Revolution against Marcos regime. Philippines, 1986. Yoruba girls with facial scarification. Miko, Nigeria, 1970s. The last message left by 47 entombed miners in Argonaut Mine, Jackson, California, written with carbide lamps on the face of the 4350 foot drift. Bound feet, 1905. A Dutch child with an American soldier in 1945. Ross sisters do a small tower, around the 1940s. Crowds greet German Chancellor Adolf Hitler as he rides in an open car in Vienna, following the March 1938 annexation of Austria by Nazi Germany. Showgirls of the Windmill Theatre in London getting their influenza vaccines while posing perfectly before a camera in 1963. Robots named psychotrons by their Austrian inventor Klaus Schulze. One of them hands a cup of tea to Frau Schulze, circa 1950 in Vienna. The London smogs, poisonous combines of smoke and fog, reached their zenith during the 1950s. A Meal on Wheels, France, 1917. James Hong's high school yearbook photo from 1947. He's still acting at 97 years old and to date has over 600 acting credits to his name. June 13, 1963, Merely Louise Evers kisses the forehead of her husband, civil rights activist Medgar Evers. The oldest known documented wheelie, 1936. Stunt double of some Hollywood stars, Evelyn Smith at Santa Monica, California Beach, 1940s. B-17 Flying Fortress of the 384th Bomb Group releasing its payload over Berlin as seen from the ball turret of another fortress. March 22, 1944. Princess Diana with her sons on a water ride at Thorpe Park, United Kingdom, 1993. George Williams was an American sideshow performer. He was born with a condition that caused his limbs to twist and stiffen. The Ink Flag, a handmade Israeli flag that was raised following the liberation of Eilat during the War of Independence, 1949. Salvador Dalí, 1955. The British airship R-33 in its hangar as it prepares for its first ever flight, March 1919. Cliff Burton hanging with his folks back in 1984. Arnold Schwarzenegger with Wilt Chamberlain and Andre the Giant on the set of Conan the Destroyer, 1983. Boran and Maria, USSR, May 3, 1989. Anne Frank and Friends, 1930s. Viet Minh unit with German and Algerian defectors performing a musical show for the children in their camp, and Thuong, 1951. John F. Kennedy Jr.'s school yearbook photo while going to the collegiate school in New York City, 1975. (1920) Mary Pickford at home in L.A. with her beloved pets. Janitor's Daughter, Council Commercial Building, 300 West Pender Street, Vancouver, British Columbia, Siastron, C. 1926. May 5, 1945, the start of the Prague Uprising during the May Uprising of the Czech nation. Ontario, Canada. Rascal contemplating mischief around 1900. Annual White House Easter egg roll in 1953. The model for Falkor on the set of Neverending Story, 1984. Bound Foot, 1905. beaching it at Coney Island, 1965. Madonna on the set of her music video for Papa Don't Preach in late May 1986. Václav Havel and protesters commemorate the struggle for freedom and democracy at Prague Memorial during 1989. Velvet Revolution. Mao Zedong and his son Mao Anying, 1922-1950, who later died on the front of the Korean War. Summer Olympics, Germany, 1972. Wilfried Dietrich, weighing about 118 kilo, managed to lift the enormous 200-kilo Chris Taylor from the ground and throw him onto the mat. Raquel Welch, my 1960s. Store owner behind the door to his business with shotgun. At the door, there is sign for the people in the riot. Detroit, Michigan, 1967. Tornado at Lebanon, Kansas, one of the first photos of a tornado. Friends on holiday by the river at Harwell in Oxfordshire, May 1929. This Victorian fashionista wears a stuffed cat in her hair and real cattails on her bodice, 1883. Louis W. Hine self-portrait with Newsboy, 1908. Residents receive water supply and help from the government during Brazil's 1951 drought. Members of the Sons of Silence, Colorado, 1971. Ethiopian tribal chief submitting to Italian troops in the Italo-Ethiopian War, 1935. Women assembling the Beatles' Rubber Soul album at the Hayes Vinyl Factory, 1965. The youngest fan ever on her father's back at a concert of Zuzakonch, 1973. A couple on an airplane smoking a cigarette, 1960s. An injured soldier from the Harlem Hellfighters returns home to a welcoming crowd, 1917. In 1954, the traveler could install a relief bunk in his car, an aluminum cot that extends above the seats from front to rear. A man watches through a periscope the coronation procession of King George VI, 1937. Sharon Tate, 1960s. Hip-hop owned the streets in the 80s. Sean Connery sleeps after what looks like a couple of red stripes in Jamaica during a break, while filming James Bond Dr. No, 1962. An all-female string band during the Edwardian era, early 1900s,